Winter's embrace, a time for release, the winter solstice. It marks the longest night, the shortest day, a time when darkness reigns. Yet even in this darkness there's a promise of renewal, a promise of light. We too experience our own personal winters, times when shadows linger and hope feels distant. It's in these moments, in the quiet contemplation of our inner darkness, that we find the strength to release. We let go of what no longer serves us. We make space for new beginnings. This winter solstice, as we stand on the cusp of 2025, we're being called to embrace this cycle of release. We're invited to shed the weight of the past. We can step into a future brimming with possibility. But to do so, we must first confront the cycles that bind us, the cycles of fear, of doubt, of old stories that keep us small. These are the shadows we must move through to find the light. It's time to step into the fullness of who we are. It's time to embrace the transformative power of 2025. Cycles of fear, trapped in yesterday's shadows. We all carry wounds, past hurts, disappointments, betrayals. These experiences leave their mark. They shape our beliefs about ourselves and the world. But often we allow these past wounds to dictate our present and future. We get trapped in cycles of fear. We avoid vulnerability. We resist connection. We fear being hurt again. These cycles keep us small. We play it safe. We settle for less than we deserve. We deny ourselves the fullness of joy, love, and belonging. We stay stuck in the familiar ache of what was. But what if we chose to see our wounds not as weaknesses, but as initiations? What if we recognize them as opportunities for growth and transformation? Breaking free from these cycles requires courage. It demands that we show up authentically. We must be willing to face our fears. We can rewrite the stories we tell ourselves. We can choose to live from a place of worthiness. The weight of lack doubts grip on our potential. Scarcity, not enough, never enough. These thoughts whisper in the shadows of our minds. They plant seeds of doubt. They convince us that we are lacking in resources, in talent, in worthiness. We begin to believe it. We chase external validation. We strive for perfection. We tie our worth to achievements and possessions. This constant striving leaves us feeling empty. We are never truly satisfied. The grip of lack keeps us tethered to a cycle of comparison and competition. We lose sight of our own unique gifts. We forget the abundance that already exists within us. It's time to challenge these limiting beliefs. We can recognize the lies that scarcity whispers. Abundance is our birthright. We are enough, just as we are. When we release the weight of lack, we create space for gratitude and joy. We step into the fullness of our potential. 2025, a year of reckoning, a year of truth. The universe is calling us to step into alignment with our highest selves. This requires honesty. It demands that we confront the shadows we've been avoiding. The consequences of inaction are clear. Stagnation, discontent, a life half-lived. We can choose to remain stuck, or we can answer the call. It's time to shed the layers of who we thought we should be. It's time to embrace the raw, messy, beautiful truth of who we are. This is not a journey for the faint of heart. It will require courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to surrender to the unknown. But the rewards are immeasurable. Freedom, joy, authentic connection. This is the promise of 2025. Section 5. The illusion of doing, finding stillness in a noisy world. We live in a culture that glorifies busyness. Doing is praised. Stillness is often seen as laziness or, a waste of time. We fill our schedules to the brim, we chase productivity, we crave the validation of a full to-do list. But this constant doing, well, it comes at a cost. We lose touch with ourselves, we disconnect from our intuition, we become strangers to our own hearts. We mistake exhaustion for fulfillment, we mistake achievement for worth. It's time to reclaim the power of stillness. We can create space for reflection. We can reconnect with our inner wisdom. We can simply be. True rest is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is in the quiet moments, the pauses between the doing, that we hear our own voice. We find clarity, we discover our truth. Section 6. False prophets and misguided maps. We are bombarded with messages, advice, guidance. Everyone has an opinion, everyone has a solution. It's easy to get lost in the noise. We follow paths laid out by others. We seek answers from external sources. But what if the answers we seek reside within? Not all who claim to lead us to the light are to be trusted. We must be discerning. We must learn to trust our own inner compass. Our intuition is our greatest guide. It knows the way. It always has. It's time to question everything. Challenge the narratives that no longer serve you. Unfollow the accounts that leave you feeling inadequate. You are the author of your own life. Choose your own adventure. Section 7. The power of showing up. Accountability as a catalyst for change. Accountability. It's a word that often evokes feelings of guilt or shame, but true accountability is not about self-judgment. It's about taking ownership. It's about radical responsibility for our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. When we are accountable, we stop making excuses. We stop blaming others. We step into our power. We become active participants in our own lives. Accountability is the bridge between intention and action. It's the key to unlocking our potential. It's the fuel that propels us forward on our journey of growth and transformation. This is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up for ourselves even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Section 8. Fear and manipulation, unveiling the tactics that bind us. Fear. It's a powerful weapon. It's used to control and manipulate. It keeps us small. It keeps us silent. It keeps us from living our truth. We see it everywhere. In the media, in our relationships, in our own minds. We are bombarded with messages of fear. Fear of scarcity. Fear of not being enough. Fear of the other. This fear creates division. It breeds hate. It prevents us from connecting with our shared humanity. Manipulation often disguises itself as love, concern, or guidance. But its true intention is to control. It seeks to keep us dependent and disempowered. It thrives in the shadows of our insecurities. We must learn to recognize these tactics. We must find the courage to say no. We must reclaim our power. Section 9. Embracing the unknown. A call to courage and authentic living. The path ahead is uncertain. It always has been. But within that uncertainty lies immense freedom. The freedom to create. The freedom to evolve. The freedom to become who we are truly meant to be. This is not a journey for the faint of heart. It requires courage. It demands vulnerability. It necessitates a willingness to surrender to the unknown, but the rewards are immeasurable. This is a call to embrace the messiness of life, to live with authenticity, to speak our truth, to show up for ourselves and for each other. This is the time to break free from the cycles that bind us. This is the year to fuck around and find out. This is 2025.